Well, shalom, 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 everybody. All praise to the Most High. I had no this guy here, and I want y'all to know, man. I seen the story earlier. I think it was on NPR, but they say Kenya, Kenya getting like northern Kenya getting ravaged. Where they're afraid it's about to be ravaged by locusts, and they go eat all the harvest.
With Kenya?
Yeah, Kenya in Africa. They get hit every year with this. Yeah, it happened last year. Remember, they got like around April. They had a bunch of locusts go through there, through like Kenya. I think it was like Kenya. It was like a couple of them, and even went up into or either Egypt and Israel, I think. But before we get started, does anybody have any questions? Any questions before we get started? And we're at Second Chronicles. We're at chapter 11. No questions. How many years did it take? So I'm gonna ask y'all a question. How many years did it take for Solomon to finish the temple and the house, his house? How many years?
You got me on that one. Was it 14, huh?
14 what?
14 years.
No, sir.
All right. It was more than that then.
Yeah.
I know I thought myself
Let's
like
go.
a long time.
We just gonna do a quick recap. Let's go to chapter 8 in Second Chronicles. I read the first verse.
And it came to pass, oh, my bad. Second Chronicles chapter 8, verse 1. And it came to pass at the end of 20 years, wherein Solomon had built the house of the Lord and his own house. There you go, yeah.
20 years. All right. So just doing a quick recap. Solomon finished everything up. Let's see if I want to read. It talks about how read verse 7 and 8 for me.
All right. Second Chronicles chapter 8, verse 7. As for all the people that were left of the Hittites and the Amorites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, which were not of Israel, but of their children who were left after them in the land, whom the children of Israel consumed not, them did Solomon make to pay tribute until this day.
All right. So after he had finished making the temple and everything, you go back up. He built some little cities that was reconquered and stuff. He built them up, made them fortified. Now as the people, he made them tributaries.
So the tributaries, they paying taxes, right?
Right. You had to pay that. You had to pay for them pretty much not to kill you, or at least at best, not to kill you, or run you out the land. So the Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, Jebusites, they were still in the land. Very important to know that. Sometimes they talk about them, you might get confused, but they still had little remnants of these people even in the land when we took it over. All right, let's see. Verse 11, we touched on verse 11. Bring out verse 11, all right?
All right, verse 11. Second Chronicles chapter 8, verse 11. And Solomon brought up the daughter of Pharaoh out of the city of David unto the house that he had built for her. For he said, my wife shall not dwell in the house of David, king of Israel, because the places are holy. whereunto the ark of the Lord had come.
All right. So what's the problem with this picture? We talked about it Tuesday. What's the problem here? What's the problem, Shannon? What's wrong?
The daughter of Pharaoh,
And what was she?
Egyptian.
A strange woman.
Yeah, a strange woman.
Right. Not this Negro. This Negro understood she couldn't be in the holy places. So he made sure, this is why Solomon built the house. My wife shall not dwell in the house of David King because she takes her holy. Oh, I'm sorry, right here. Unto the house that he had built for her. So this, if you ever wondered why Solomon didn't just live in the big old nice house his daddy built, you go the answer.
Wow.
You married to an Egyptian woman, right? Let's see what else. Okay, remember he had them doing the burnt offerings. Read verse 13. He had them doing the burnt offerings off the porch he built. Read 13 now.
All right, 2 Chronicles chapter 8, verse 13. Even after a certain rate every day, offering according to the commandment of Moses on the Sabbaths and on the new moon and on the solemn feast 3 times in the year, even in the feast of unleavened bread and in the feast of weeks and in the feast of tabernacles. And he appointed, according to the order of David his father, the courses of the priests to their service and the Levites to their charges, to praise and minister before the priest as the duty of every day required. The porters also by their courses at every gate, for so had David, the man of God, commanded.
So even though he dealing with this Egyptian woman at this time, he still was in order with the things that his father had commanded him to do. Okay. Read verse 18, please.
All right, verse 18. And Hiram sent him by the hands of his servants, ships, and servants that had knowledge of the sea. And they went with the servants of Solomon to Ophir, and took thence 450 talents of gold, and brought them to King Solomon.
Right. So Hiram gave him ships, showed him how to get to Ophir. We was telling you, Ophir is in Africa. I couldn't point out what country it is today, but Ophir was known for having lots and lots of gold. So if you look, you probably could find it with a little research. Because I'm guaranteed you, even to today, it's going to still be a predictor of what gold. So let's go on to the next chapter. The next chapter, chapter 9, we have Queen of Sheba coming in. All right. Read verse 1 for me, please, Doc.
All right, 2 Chronicles chapter 9, verse 1. And when the queen of Sheba heard of the fame of Solomon, she came to prove Solomon with hard questions at Jerusalem, with a very great company, and camels that bear spices, and gold in abundance, and precious stones. And when she was come to Solomon, she communed with him of all that was in her heart.
Right. So she came. Remember, at the time, King Solomon is almost the wisest man in the world, or was he the wisest man in the world? He was the wisest man in the world. So everybody from all over was coming to seek knowledge. Queen Sheba came. Where did Queen Sheba come from? Somebody got stuck, huh? Ethiopia. Right? Now, the Bible never tells you that they laid down and made a baby. So, what you call Rastafarianism, or to be a Rasta man, they believe that Queen Sheba and Solomon had a baby, and that baby went back to Ethiopia, became royalty, and then that's how they became Israelites. So just so y'all know, it comes from this particular story in the Bible, and they worship El Selassie, who came out and said that he was a kid to King Solomon. Said he was not, but they still believe it even unto this day.
So that's what the doctrine they push,
Yeah, that's one of the doctrines.
but it's not true.
Yeah, to be like a Rastafarian is actually to be a Rastafarian. It's not just them smoking weed and growing their hair. It's actually a religion. Their religion. It's a religion to be a Rastafarian. A lot of people just think it's something that they do, but it's actually that's what they call it. All right. Can you read verse 4 out?
All right, 2 Chronicles chapter 9, verse 4. And the meat of his table, and the sitting of his servants, and the attendance of his ministers, and their apparel, his cupbearers also, and their apparel, and his accent, by which he went up into the house of the Lord. There was no more spirit in her.
And it's his accent, like ascending when he went up the staff. She just looking on him. His we would call it today, I guess, swag. Way he was walking, the way he was confident, however you want to put it. But I wanted to point this out again because notice she was even talking about even the way the cupbearers, the way they dress, and we understand the way she described it. These people probably didn't even dress like servants. They probably all was just dressed nice, the best clothing, even the people that served him. That's the point that's being made here. And we know there was no more spirit in her. We liken that to what? She was out for.
She was astonished.
There you go, Rock. She was astonished. Swept off her feet. Okay. Let's see. Verse 8.
They'll try to use that verse right there then.
What you said, Rock?
So they'll try to use that verse. Yeah, Queen Sheba, look how she was, her spirit was gone. She was fell over hills for her.
Yeah. You're right. Any way to try to get you to, cause it's they just manipulating. They show you this scripture and they get you to try to just think about it, but the scripture don't say what you're saying. Just like the scripture that they like Genesis chapter 3, you get to Genesis chapter 4, they telling you, yeah. Cain came from the devil. Cain came from the serpent. Well, where in the Bible did they lay down? Oh man, you just got to think about it. Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I could think about it, and I might come to that conclusion, but at the end of the day, it's still nothing more than an opinion. You know what I'm saying? But the crazy thing is, they get mad at you when you don't accept it. Like it's written, it's written in board English. Nah.
Yeah. Like you done.
Right. Read verse 8 for me, please, Art.
All right. 2 Chronicles chapter 9, verse 8. Blessed be the Lord thy God, which delighted in thee to set thee on his throne, to be king for the Lord thy God, because thy God loved Israel to establish them forever. Therefore made he thee king over them, to do judgment and justice.
Right. So she was so astonished. She was like, man, blessed be the Lord thy God for putting you in this position and doing this for you. Like, man, he really must be dealing with y'all. Notice what she said, because thy God loved Israel. She said, thy God, your God. She knew her place. She knew. I don't know what gods the Ethiopians. I never really looked it up either. The gods that they dealt with back in the day. That's something I'll look up later. But she was talking about they God. Remember, I tell y'all all the time, people was a lot more spiritual back in the day. Right now, people aren't so spiritual. They're more carnal. They're more they more worship technology and science than anything nowadays. Yeah. And then they look down at people that are spiritual. I had a conversation with a guy. Like, oh man, science. I say science. He say science more spirit. Moreover, it's more science than spiritual. And I was telling them, well, even science proved that the spiritual is supreme. And he was like, how you say that? I say, because like a lot of doctors and stuff, they did heavy testing with what they call placebos, meaning they would tell you what something is, and then they give you a pill that wasn't it, but they had already told you it was this, it was going to cure you and stuff. And a lot of the people end up getting cured from taking just sugar pills. Why? Because their own mind healed them. Because they truly believed that they was going to get healed by this medicine, even though they never even took medicine. So they let you know right there that faith is something that's true. And you can't tell them to science, because they're like, nah, that don't mean that. But what does it mean? Your own mind can heal you. You do it in faith. Hmm? Yeah. All right. So let's see. Read verse 9.
All right, verse 9. And she gave the king 120 talents of gold, and of spices great abundance, and precious stones. Neither was there any such spice as the queen of Sheba gave King Solomon.
He kept getting blessed by different kings and queens that would come just to ask him questions and would bring him millions, billions, diamonds, gold, silver. He, verse 11. Verse 11,
Verse 11. And the king made of the algum trees, terraces to the house of the Lord and to the king's palace, and harps and psalteries for singers. And there were none such seen before in the land of Judah.
right. Now let's look it up again. I'm going to show terrace. They made terrace. All right. Let's see. Like for the highways and the byways, little porches. I think sometimes we call it the terrace, sometimes we call them a type of like a gazebo and stuff. So he was able to do that. Remember, he was getting them algum trees from Haram, right? Who brought the gold, who brought him to get the gold from Ophir. Read 15 and 16. Let's see what Solomon was doing with all this gold. Solomon loved gold. Remember, y'all, he even had the brazen sea and everything. This man had so much gold. I see why the Bible say he was the richest man ever. Go ahead, Art.
Verse 16. And 300 shields made he of beaten gold. 300 shekels of gold went to one shield, and the king put them in the house of the forest of Lebanon. That's where they get the golden army from, probably. Yeah, shields made of gold and stuff like that.
Right. Shields. In verse 15, they had targets made of gold. Nice. Okay, verse 18, 17 and 18. I check this out.
Verse 17. Moreover, the king made a great throne of ivory and overlaid it with pure gold. And there were 6 steps to the throne, with a footstool of gold, which were fastened to the throne, and stays on each side of the sitting place, and 2 lions standing by the stays.
All right, go ahead, read 19.
19, excuse me. And 12 lions stood there on the one side, and on the other upon the 6 steps. There was not the like made in any kingdom.
No kingdom had a throne like this. So we talked about it. And check it, even when you look at some of the thrones and stuff, he had a footstool made into his made into his throne.
He had to step up to his thrones.
Yeah,
His get on.
6 steps. He had to take 6 steps. Each step, I told y'all, each step had a lion on the left and the right side. So imagine the throne sitting up, it's 6 steps. You got a lion on each side for each step. 12 lions go up to his throne. Throne was gold with a gold footstool. Bad. Bad. All right. Let's see. 20 touch on the drinking vessels were made of gold. Solomon dealt with a lot of gold. Let's see. 321 out.
Verse 21. For the king's ships went to Tarshish with the servants of Aram. Every 3 years once came the ships of Tarshish bringing gold and silver, ivory, and apes, and peacocks.
Peacocks. We looked it up. They call them peafowls. Congo peacocks.
Turn on the mic.
Here we go. Congo peacocks. Just so anybody ever knew, they got peacocks and stuff over there. Kind of want.
Oh, hold on, man. Let me see it.
You want to see it?
Yeah, I ain't even
Yeah.
peacock.
Like this. This was when we looked it up, and we looked up to see what peacocks were native to, and it said India. And then it said it got like the Congo peafowl. This is an Indian peafowl and a green peafowl. So this is the kind of peacocks they had. Everybody see?
Yeah.
Okay. Always got my gun. Okay. 22, please, Doc.
22. And King Solomon passed all the kings of the earth in riches and wisdom.
You true.
23.
Oh, go ahead, Doc.
No, I'm asking, you want me to? Yeah.
Yeah, you can go ahead, Doc.
Verse 23. And all the kings of the earth sought the presence of Solomon to hear his wisdom that God had put in his heart.
He surpassed everybody. And at this point, Solomon is a young man. They astonished at his wisdom. They knew.
And he was probably having cooking shows before cooking shows was made. He probably teaching them how to cook. All kind of stuff.
Yeah, he's doing all types of things.
Yeah, I mean, he had all the wisdom.
And they also knew that the Lord was dealing with him because he was so wise. You know, a young man couldn't be this wise. It's got to be some kind of divine intervention. Give me 25, right?
All right, verse 25. And Solomon had 4,000 stalls for horses and chariots, and 12,000 horsemen, whom he bestowed in the chariot cities, and with the king at Jerusalem.
So these were people and horses and chariots that would normally be at his beck and call. This is what he kept around Jerusalem. All right, give me 26. All right.
26. And he reigned over all the kings from the river, even unto the land of the Philistines and the border of Egypt.
Right. 30 and 31, please.
Verse 30. And Solomon reigned in Jerusalem over all Israel 40 years. And Solomon slept with his father, and he was buried in the city of David, his father. And Rehoboam, his son, reigned in his stead.
All praise. So Rehoboam then took over, right? So we touched on this chapter. We read this chapter last week. Give me verse 2, Art.
All right, 2 Chronicles chapter 10, verse 2. And it came to pass when Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who was in Egypt, whither he fled from the presence of Solomon the king, heard it, that Jeroboam returned out of Egypt.
Read down to 4, please.
Verse 3. And they sent and called him. So Jeroboam and all Israel came and spake to Rehoboam, saying, Thy father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore ease thou somewhat the grievous servitude of thy father, and his heavy yoke that he put upon us, and we will serve thee.
Right. So one question. How was the yoke grievous that Solomon put on him? What was he doing? What did he have them doing making their yoke grievous?
No. What did Solomon do?
To make their yoke grievous.
One, I'm gonna give you a clue. He messed with strange women.
Right.
So he made the children of Israel yoke grievous.
Oh, because he messed with all the strange women and something about the horse.
He messed around with strange women. He had them going off a whoring for other gods. Remember, he was building altars and everything. All right, that's a grievous yoke.
Saying one of his women to be mad with.
Right. Worried about other gods and not the Most High. Right. Drop down to verse 6 for me, all right?
Verse 6. And King Rehoboam took counsel with the old men that had stood before Solomon his father, while he yet lived, saying, What counsel give ye me to return answer to this people? And they spake unto him, saying, If thou be kind to this people, and please them, and speak good words to them, they will be thy servants forever.
Drop down to verse 10.
Verse 10. And the young men that were brought up with him spake unto him, saying, Thus shalt thou answer the people that spake unto thee, saying, Thy father made our yoke heavy, but make thou it somewhat lighter for us. Thus shalt thou say unto them, My little finger shall be thicker than my father's loin.
Right. Okay. So he took counsel from the elders. They told him, that if you treat them right, these people will love you forever. Then he went and took counsel from his knucklehead friends. They told him double down, go hard on them. Right. Pick it up at 12. Right?
Verse 12. So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam on the third day, as the king bade, saying, Come again to me on the third day. And the king answered them roughly, and King Rehoboam forsook the counsel of the old men, and answered them after the advice of the young men, saying, My father made your yoke heavy, but I will add thereto. My father chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions.
Give me 15.
Verse 15. So the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was of God, that the Lord might perform his word, which he spake by the hand of Ahijah, the Shilonite, to Jeroboam, the son of Nebat.
Right. So remember, we touched on this. He hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was of God. He didn't even have a choice. God hardened the Most High hardened his heart. He wanted to go down here. Remember, he had already prophesied that he was what? Splitting the kingdoms anyway. It ain't too much to talk about at this point. Jeroboam going up there trying to be nice about it, but he had already became a king. But he didn't want to accept it, so he tried to make peace with Rehoboam. So the Lord was like, nah, it ain't gonna be no peace. Y'all gonna be separate kingdoms. All right? When the word go out, the word don't go out, and what? It don't come back void. Something into the world, it's gonna happen. Nothing you could do about it. It's gonna manifest itself. All right. Give me 16, please, Art.
All right, verse 16. And when all Israel saw that the king would not hearken unto them, the people answered the king, saying, What portion have we in David? and we have none inheritance in the son of Jesse? Every man to your tents, O Israel, and now David, see to thine own house. So all Israel went to their tents.
Right. Oh, Israel. What tribe is that?
Northern tribe.
Northern tribe. We don't have no inheritance in the southern tribe. The northern tribe became 10 pieces. Okay. Read 18 and 19 now. We'll start the next chapter.
Then King Rehoboam sent Hadaram that was over the tribute, and the children of Israel stoned him with stones, that he died. But King Rehoboam made speed to get him up to his chariot to flee to Jerusalem. And Israel rebelled against the house of David unto this day.
All right, so after they told him they didn't have no inheritance, they wasn't messing with him. He sent the dude over to pick up taxes. They killed him. So he ran. So let's pick it up. You ready out?
Yes, sir.
Second,
All right,
okay, go ahead.
All right, Second Chronicles chapter 2, Second Chronicles chapter 11, verse 1, excuse me. And when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he gathered of the house of Judah and Benjamin 180,000 chosen men, which were warriors, to fight against Israel, that he might bring the kingdom again to Rehoboam. But the words of the Lord came to Shemaiah, the man of God, saying, Speak unto Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, king of Judah, and to all Israel in Judah and Benjamin, saying, Thus saith the Lord, ye shall not go up, nor fight against your brethren. Return every man to his house, for this thing is done of me. And they obeyed the words of the Lord, and returned from going against Jeroboam. And Rehoboam dwelt in Jerusalem, and built cities for defense in Judah. He built even Bethlehem, and Edom, and Tekoa, and Bethzer, and Shoko, and Adullam, and Gath, and Maresha, and Ziph, and Adoram, and Lachish, and Azekah, Azekah, and Zorah, and
Elion.
Ayalon, huh? Ayalon,
I'll take it out.
Ayalon, and Hebron, which are in Judah and in Benjamin, fenced cities. And he fortified the strongholds and put captains in them, and store of vital, and of oil and wine.
Yeah, okay, hold on. Now that word you say is victual. It's victual. I know even on the screen it look through like vital, but the word there is victual. Victual is food rations, food, store of food.
Okay.
Food or
it say vital. Vital.
Yeah, but Shannon looking at it in the regular.
Oh, it's victual.
It's victual. So that means that word didn't change from 1611. The word didn't change.
Yeah, it didn't even have a word for victual. Vital. Look up vital, Locke.
All right, let's look it up. English.
Vitale.
Right here. Primary as plural. Oh. That which provide nutrition, food, or nourishment. Second one, ration or rations, victuals. One's store of food for journeying. Journeying. Food yielded from agriculture. You see it out? I'm sorry, I should have made it bigger.
Nah, I'm not on the screen.
All right, well, look, it say, when you look it up, that which provides nutrition, food, or nourishment. The second definition is a ration or rations, victuals, one's store of food for journeying. And then the third one is food yielded from agriculture. So it's victual.
Okay, well, vitel is the same thing.
Yeah. It's like
Okay,
the older form of the word.
victual.
Yeah.
Okay.
Verse 12, whenever you're ready.
All right, verse 12. And in every several city,
Yeah.
he put shields and spears and made them exceeding strong, having Judah and Benjamin on his side. And the priests and the Levites that were in all Israel resorted to him out of all their coasts. For the Levites left their suburbs and their possession and came to Judah and Jerusalem. For Jeroboam and his sons had cast them off from executing the priest's office unto the Lord. And he ordained him priest for the high places and for the devils and for the calves which he had made. And after them, out of all the tribes of Israel, such as set their hearts to seek the Lord God of Israel, came to Jerusalem to sacrifice unto the Lord God of their fathers.
Hold on. Hold on. So what did he do? What did Jeroboam just do? He took the priests and Levites and did what with them?
He brought them with Judah and Benjamin. Huh?
But what did he do to them? What he cast them out from?
Rehoboam, you mean, huh?
Yeah, that's right, Jeroboam. Yeah, Jeroboam.
Jeroboam kicked them out.
And did what?
He
15.
ordained him priest
He put his
for the
own.
high places himself.
He put his own priest in there. That right there's a catastrophe.
Yeah.
You ain't got to think twice about it. You took the Lord's priest and put your own people. All right, verse 16. Pick it up, please.
They had to take care of the devils.
Right, say, and he ordained him priest for the high places and for the devils, deceivers, and for the cows which he made. I don't know why people always want to make a cow god.
Yeah, for real. Like it's always a calf they make.
I wonder if there's any gods.
I wonder why they,
Let's look.
if you have a problem, you be.
What god?
Everybody like cool. People say you be.
You ready?
Yeah. All right. Verse 16. And after them, out of all the tribes of Israel, such as set their hearts to, oh, my bad, y'all. We're at verse 17. Verse 17. 2 Chronicles chapter 11, verse 17. So they strengthened the kingdom of Judah and made Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, strong 3 years. For 3 years they walked in the way of David and Solomon. And Rehoboam took him Mahalath, the daughter of Jeremoth, the son of David, to wife, and Abihail, the daughter of Eliab, the son of Jesse. He took his, hold up. He took his auntie? I know that can't be his auntie, huh?
He said he took the daughter of Jeremiah, the son of David, to wife, and Abihail, the daughter of Eliab, the son of Jesse.
But Haley, the daughter of Jeremiah, the son of David. So Jeremiah and, he took his cousin, his first cousin.
Right, because the son of Jesse could be either one of the brothers.
Yeah.
David.
But he took David. He took David's son. So that would be Solomon brother, right? Jeremiah would be Solomon's brother, right?
Nah,
The son of David.
David had a son named Jeremiah.
Probably from one of them other wives too, huh? He had.
We had to go back to the chapter where it named all his sons. I think it's like in the beginning of the first Chronicles. We'll figure it out, then we'll come back and explain it.
All right. Verse 19. Which bare him children, Jeush and Shamariah and Zaham. And after her he took Maacah, the daughter of Absalom, which bare him Abiah and Athai and Caesar and Shelemith. Yeah, he taking his first cousins, bro. And Rehoboam loved Maacah, the daughter of Absalom, above all his wives and his concubines. For he took 18 wives and 80 concubines. God. And begot 28 sons and 80 daughters. 60 daughters. God. He was going in. And 28 sons. God.
88 children.
God, that's what? 88 children?
Yeah.
28 sons and 60 daughters. That's 88 kids.
Hey, you remember Gideon had what? 70 sons.
You sure right.
He
God.
had 70 sons by himself.
I wonder how you remembered all their names.
You remember their faces?
Yeah, you remember their faces. Boy, he was probably getting it in with their names. All right. Verse 22. And Rehoboam made Abiah, the son of Maacah, the chief, to be ruler among his brethren, for he thought to make him king. And he dealt wisely and dispersed of all his children throughout all the countries of Judah and Benjamin unto every fenced city. And he gave them victuals in abundance, and he desired many wives.
Okay. Anybody have any questions about this chapter 11?
He had 88 kids.
Yeah, that's a lot of children.
It didn't even say Solomon had that many kids. And he had 300 concubines and stuff.
Man, I'm pretty sure he had a lot of kids.
Now, he had a lot, though.
We had 1,000 concubines and what? 300 wives, I think.
300 wives.
And 1,000 concubines. So imagine just all of them had one baby.
That's 300 kids.
No, back then you didn't have to deal with none of this poisoning from the government to slow down you having children.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to go ahead and read chapter 12. Whenever you're ready, I can pick it up at chapter 12.
Chapter 12, 2 Chronicles chapter 12, verse 1. And it came to pass when Rehoboam had established the kingdom and had strengthened himself, he forsook the law of the Lord, and all Israel with him. And it came to pass that in the 5th year of Rehoboam, Shishak, king of Egypt, came up against Jerusalem, because they had transgressed against the Lord, with 1,200 chariots and 80,000 horsemen. And the people were without number that came with him out of Egypt, the Lubims, the Sukims, and the Ethiopians. And he took the fenced cities which pertained to Judah and came to Jerusalem. Then came Shemaiah, the prophet, to Rehoboam and to the princes of Judah that were gathered together to Jerusalem because of Shishak, and said unto them, Thus saith the Lord, ye have forsaken me, and therefore I have also left you in the hand of Shishak. Whereupon the princes of Israel and the king humbled themselves, and they said, The Lord is righteous. And when the Lord saw that they humbled themselves, the word of the Lord came to Shemaiah, saying, They have humbled themselves, therefore I will not destroy them, but I will grant them some deliverance, and my wrath shall not be poured out upon Jerusalem by the hand of Shishak. Nevertheless, they shall be his servants, that they may know my service, and the service of the kingdoms of the countries. So Shishak, king of Egypt, came up against Jerusalem and took away the treasures of the house of the Lord and the treasures of the king's house. He took all. He carried away also the shields of gold which Solomon had made. Instead of which, King Rehoboam made shields of brass and committed them to the hands of the chief of the guard that kept the entrance of the king's house. And when the king entered into the house of the Lord, the guard came and fed them and brought them again into the guard chamber. And when he humbled himself, the wrath of the Lord turned from him, that he would not destroy him altogether. And also in Judah things went well. So King Rehoboam strengthened himself in Jerusalem and reigned. For Rehoboam was 41 years old when he began to reign.
41 years old.
Yeah, well, I went back and look at it.
Yeah, he
In
was,
Jerusalem, huh?
no, I was saying, yeah, he was 41 when Solomon died.
Mhm. And he reigned 17 years in Jerusalem, the city which the Lord had chosen out of all the tribes of Israel to put his name there. And his mother's name was Naamah of an Ammonitis.
Ammonite woman. More than likely, she was what? An Israelite. Remember, like they did that the same thing with the Moabite. We just read a couple of chapters over how they had these people still in the land. So we know that they had this land under what? Israel's rule, right? So, but dealing with Solomon, I wouldn't be surprised if she wasn't. I wouldn't be. But I did want to point out something before we continue. Up here, where the Lord came and he told them that there'll be servants. So then he sent the king in there to take all the gold and stuff. And I was, as I was reading this, something hit my mind, like this proof right here that he don't care nothing about physical money. Because if he cared about it, he wouldn't have let him take all the money from him. But he didn't care. It's because that's things that we look for. So he hit them where it hurt, to hit them pockets. Y'all go pay tributaries. That's the worst thing you could do, even in the United States, paying taxes. You working hard to give your money away. Just think about it.
Mm.
Whenever you're ready, Ak, you can pick it up.
All right, verse 14. And he did evil because he prepared not his heart to seek the Lord. Now the acts of Rehoboam, first and last, are they not written in the book of Shemaiah the prophet and of Edu the seer concerning genealogies? And there were wars between Rehoboam and Jeroboam continually. And Rehoboam slept with his fathers and was buried in the city of David. And Abiah, his son, reigned in his stead.
Abiah. Okay. Does anyone have any questions about this chapter? Anybody? I want to read one more. Y'all want to go ahead and save it for next Tuesday. It's only what 20, 22. You want to read one more?
Nah, we call it quits for the night.
Or you or your nephew's uncle? You or your nephew. Hold on one second. Go ahead.